Let's see. All right, hey guys. This is Chris Chen here with my buddy Eddie Yoon. We're doing an interview with Eddie. I recently, how I know Eddie, I went to high school with Eddie. Um, we were on the track team together, and we did cross country. And I knew he was doing some cool stuff with his career. And one day on Facebook, I saw that he sold his company. Um, I think on Facebook the status said that his company made like six figures in 1.5 years, and this really caught my attention. And I knew Eddie was doing a lot of business stuff for a while. He had his own business, so I called him up to kind of interview him to see if he had any marketing and business tips or just like life tips for us. Yes. Eddie, do you want to say hi and kind of talk about maybe like Amber Maids, your recent business deal, or like what have you been doing?
Yeah, sure, Chris. Thanks for having me on the show. It's been a long time since we talked, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a few years. And I guess with Amber Maids, I started my entrepreneurial journey throughout college. I was
Hmm.
always interested in business, marketing in general. Had the option of majoring in business, going to business for grad school, getting my MBA. Got a few good offers, but decided to ultimately turn them down just because I knew that I would learn the traditional form of marketing and business structure, which I didn't want to do. So I kind of sought out information on my own online through mentors, did a ton of research, and just went for it really. So Amber Maids is an online cleaning business. I ran it for less than 2 years. It was able to generate a pretty good amount of money for me, but what I learned most from it was kind of the value of starting your own business, just gaining confidence, and it was just a really self-motivating thing that really boosted my confidence and made me know that whatever I do, that I was able to succeed, and it just went off from there.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah. And I'll definitely include the link from Amber Maids in the description so our viewers can kind of like check out your website and see what it's about. I think it's really well designed. It seems like a really simple but really profitable business thing. It's something that everyone needs, right? Everyone has a house and everyone messes up their house, so everyone needs a maid.
Yeah.
Uh, um, so I guess obviously you worked really hard and you did a lot of research and you did a lot of work in marketing beforehand that led you up to this business, this Amber Maids. And let me see. I guess I wanted to ask you not just about like working hard in the past, but who are you right now? Like what are you up to right now?
Well, right now, Amber Maids is in the process of
Mm-hmm.
being acquired, so I guess whenever this interview gets live, the
Mm-hmm.
website may or may not change
Oh,
because
okay.
it could be under a different brand name. So there's a lot of legal things that we have to discuss with that.
Oh, okay.
But if the audience is interested, they could always go to Wayback Time Machine and look at the previous versions of the website. So that's not really a problem.
Okay.
I guess right now, since it's being acquired, I'm using my free time to kind of delve into the podcasting realm because I really love interviewing people. That's where I got my start, and it really helped me realize how important the first few interviews are for anyone who's starting out and kind of rising in whatever field they're doing. So, my next podcast is called EDM Giant. I really want to focus on highlighting electronic dance music DJs and producers who are super talented, but they are struggling with marketing, promotion, and really just want to get their name out there because I see their talent and I kind of want to give back to the community and because I love music so much. So it's a win win for everyone involved.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, I wanted to talk to you about, I guess a more sensitive topic and the topic of money, right? Because I kind of feel like, obviously, I feel like you're someone that's not afraid to make money. But however, I feel like a lot of people, just in general, are really afraid to talk about money. It's like people would rather talk about how many people they've had sex with rather than tell you what their annual salary is, you know? Like talking about how much you make seems to be a really taboo topic, and people seem to have this fear of money. What are your thoughts on that? Have you experienced that firsthand?
Definitely. I mean, I guess that kind of plays into the culture that we currently live in. A lot of younger people, whether it's young professionals, college students, recent grads, um, they could be making a lot of money. They could not. They really focus on getting their alpha male status up there and really defining themselves by their sexual life, the really superficial aspects of their lifestyle, which I had that when I was younger too. I mean, every guy experiences that when they're young, but I kind of broke out of that mold because I just started getting older and I started to think about who I wanted to be down the line 5 years, 10 years from now. And that wasn't who I wanted to be. And I think building an income is great. I've never really bragged about how much money I made. I think your work and your actions speak volumes more than whatever you can say. And I think it's really much more surprising when you talk with someone how humble they are and you realize later on through maybe their mutual friend or another connection through their network how much money they really make. And some of my best friends and some of my mentors, I've met them through that just because I ask them honestly, how much do you make? What do you do? And it really depends on how they answer that you can kind of judge them as a human being.
Awesome. Hey, what do you think? What do you think it means to like be humble? Because I know like there's some people. I think it's really easy. Like when you make a lot of money, you're like, oh, I'm so awesome. You know, I'm Tony Stark. I'm a billionaire, genius, philanthropist. You know, what do you think? How do you think some people are able to stay humble? I mean, that's actually a topic I've been working on recently. You know, like, isn't that awesome when you meet someone who's like really successful and they're really humble at the same time? You know, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's completely awesome. I love meeting individuals who are super humble and super successful. One big tip I always give to people that I meet is if you want to meet a great person, you'll know by the fact how successful they've reached it in their life and how humble they've been able to become. Because usually, a lot of people who are cocky and they have a big ego, it turns out that they're not that successful at all. The really humble people make sure that whenever they're in a group of friends or in a group of successful people, that they always treat themselves as the least successful people, because if you put yourself in that mindset in that position, you're always in the framework to continually learn and to continually build upon yourself. So I think in order to maintain the humble nature is to always be in the learning mode and to always be open to other people's ideas and to always believe that you didn't make it yet because you honestly haven't no matter what. And I find that a lot of really successful people have reached that state of mind and they're always willing to treat themselves as someone who is completely new at the game.
Hmm. So being humble, you feel like it's like you're eager to learn, you're always growing and stuff like that. Is that kind of what you meant to say? Like, is that what humble being humble means to you?
Yeah, yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I used to work in finance,
Uh-huh.
so that is the pinnacle of an alpha male characteristic.
Mm-hmm.
You meet a lot of people who have so much money, they spend it all. I mean, it's investment banking is one of the biggest things. And there's there's a good saying that goes around in that field is there's always going to be someone who's more successful than you and who makes more
Mm-hmm.
money than you in finance. You
Mm-hmm.
think you're cool because you work in investment banking, you're going to meet a venture capitalist who makes way more money than you. You
Mm-hmm.
think you make more money in that field, there's going to be a private equity associate who makes way more money than you. And if that private equity associate thinks he's crazy, then there's going to be a hedge fund manager who makes way more money than you. And then guess what happens when you reach that circle? You're going to meet the person who actually owns the entire network, who owns their own company, and they make the most money. So you'll never be the most successful. If you ever reach that point in your life, then chances are your goals are way too low and there's a lot more that you can learn, and you should really just try to find new fields and branch yourselves out and just be more creative.
Cool. Hey, when you're talking about like finance and stuff, I recently saw The Wolf of Wall Street. Like, is that like the kind, is that stuff real, like what you're talking about? Is that kind of like, I don't, or is that just totally like Hollywood and fiction? Because like those guys were making tons of money and like it was like a crazy alpha male dominant kind of environment. I mean, is that what it was like?
The
So,
amount of money they're making is pretty astronomical. I mean, I personally know traders who make a ton of money. They make a few million a year just
hmm.
because they're self-taught as well. It's possible to make that type of money. The lifestyle, I mean, of course it's pretty exaggerated, but back then it was a lot more liberal, and it's not uncommon to hear a lot about those kind of escapades that happen in the finance world, whether you make a trip out to Atlantic City, Vegas, New York. It happens all the time.
Okay, okay. Um, I wanted to ask you just not I guess we we're always, there's always multiple stepping stones ahead of us, right? I guess I kind of wanted to ask you like what is your future and like how do you plan to get there? Because I know you're still young and I want to do this interview not in the sense that, oh shoot, Eddie Yoon has already made it and like this is I want to, talk to the audience as if you are, you're still going really strong and you're still going really fast and you're going really high. Like what are your goals and how do you plan on getting there?
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of goals. For me, I've never really felt like I made it.
Mhm.
I, I mean, I sold my company when at the age of 25, but in my mind, I already wanted to do that when I was 20 years old. So in that
Mhm.
sense, I already failed. I wanted to make $1 million by the time I was 30 years old. So I have 5 more years to do that. And I wanted to do that completely on my own from scratch. So those are some of the big goals that I've always had for myself ever since I was 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, before going to high school and going through college as well. So, what I really like to do is I like building life plans for myself. I
Mhm.
build weekly plans, monthly plans, and in the long term, I build a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, and then I build the 10 year plan. So,
Oh.
in the next few years, I guess I'm working on my podcast right now, and I want to, first of all, I want to expose a lot of people in the music field because it's a rising industry. I mean, the EDM industry was valued at a few $1 billion just recently, through a lot of deal structure. You can read all about it through the company SFX. They've been acquiring a bunch of people. Apple is going to acquire Dr. Dre's Beats company for $3.2 billion. Dr. Dre is going to be the first billionaire hip hop person, and he's from the West Coast. So that's very, very huge. Music will always be a profitable industry. If you want to make money, find the niches out there that are making money. Look at what types of deals are being done and kind of branch out in your own niche within that. I always give the advice of people, if you want to be successful, become the king of a town and then you'll become the king of the country eventually. You don't become the president of the United States just in a one shot direction. You have to start out, as a mayor, a senator, and then work your way up. It's completely the same way with entrepreneurial endeavors as well. And that's kind of the mindset that I've always had. I don't want to be the number one billionaire in the entire world. That's not my goal, and that's never been my goal. I just want to be in my own kingdom, in my own little niche, and kind of be recognized for that and dominate that as well. So for now, I guess it's music because I love it. I would love to release some records down the road. That's not an immediate goal of mine, but that's always been just a personal thing for mine because I come from a musical background as well, just from my family and from myself when I was younger. In terms of business, I'm definitely going to create other companies out there, but it's not an immediate goal just because Amber Maid's my previous startup. It just took so much out of me. I think a lot of people they think about money as the first goal, which I think is terrible. If you think about money, you'll probably not succeed because you need to think about kind of realistic, passionate goals that you want to do. I was realistic and passionate about it because I love startups. I loved helping other people, and the medium that I felt would be the best would be to kind of connect a traditional industry such as home cleaning with a modernized structure of online applications, booking forms, which I know will be the future. We see it with Airbnb, we see it with Uber. In the next 5 years, everyone's going to be ordering their fresh groceries from Amazon. They're going to be ordering all their clothes on a subscription basis. A lot of people are just getting into that mindset, but it's pretty much the future. And I wanted to make sure that I was at the forefront of it as early as possible so that I could take full advantage of it.
Whoa, awesome. Okay, so you said a lot of really cool things. So it seems like you're really passionate, like Amber Maids. You weren't passionate about cleaning houses. You were passionate about taking traditional industries and modernizing it and bringing it online. Would you? Is that like what you were? Is that like what you are passionate about? Or
Yeah, I really like pushing the envelope. So I
mm-hmm,
like making new things that aren't really that popular. I mean,
mm-hmm,
I want a lot of people to understand that Amber Maids is not a unique idea in
mm-hmm,
any sense of the word.
mm-hmm,
It's just an online cleaning booking form to connect cleaners with homeowners. But the only reason that it was different is I made sure that the policies of the company, the culture of the environment was a lot better than traditional industries. When you order cleaning from traditional companies that are pretty well known in the industry, I don't have to say any of the names. I'm sure a lot of people know. They could Google it. They do hourly fees. They do it on square footage. They have to enter your home to kind of give an estimate. The whole process takes so long. There's a lot of cancellations. There's a lot of inadequacies with the cleaning quality. But I wanted to make sure that all of those were solved. I wanted to make an online structure where you can book online in less than a minute. You could do your subscription right there. We don't have to do an estimate on your home. We have the technology to look at how many square feet your home has just looking on Google and connecting those applications with API coding. We know how many rooms there are. We connect you with the best cleaners that we know because we vet for them and we only work with the best cleaners as well. That's why I paid them such a high percentage salary compared with other cleaners. I treat them extremely well and I treated them very well like they were my own equals as well because I considered them my equals and I respected them so much. And I think that's kind of the mindset that I had where I wanted to enter the traditional industry and kind of equalize it and modernize it at the same time and to kind of make a change. And I believe that is the biggest reason why it was able to reach the level of success that it did.
hmm. Wow. Wow, like okay, when I first looked at Amber Maze, it looked really simple, but now that you explained that, it sounds like it was actually really complex and a lot of work that you did in designing the system and the experience. Um, Hey, Eddie, actually, before you talked about something I thought was really interesting. You talked about, this was like a couple minutes ago, you said you talked about being the king of a town and then being the king of a country and, first finding your own niche. I think that's really interesting because, um, do you know the saying? People say, would you rather be a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond? And I once had this teacher tell me that. And then he was kind of leaning towards, you want to be a small fish in a big pond. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I'll get like eaten up. So your niche strategy is about being a small fish, no, a big fish in a small pond, right? And then moving up eventually. Is that kind of what you would suggest in terms of, creating a niche?
That's exactly what I think. And I think that's kind of my mindset that I've always had. And that's what I've been able to do to follow my own pathways in life. Being the bigger fish in a small pond is so much better because I mean, I could go on forever with this. It's just a life theory that I have. But just to briefly delve upon the topic, is in terms of marketing and business, it's a lot of just validating your idea. If you
Hmm.
can't dominate or if you can't assert your position as a respected individual, as an authority figure in a small pond, then you'll never ever reach the big pond and become successful. It's a lot like sports too.
Hmm.
You can't be an NBA star without playing basketball in the junior level without playing in high school, college. It
Oh.
rarely happens. It almost never happens. And you start to notice this trend in every single field in the world. I mean, you come from an art background, a musical background as well, and I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
you understand.
Yeah.
If you look at the biographies of many successful people, you just see their success stories when they made it. But if you look at their history, they've been in the game for 7, 8 years, but we only hear about them recently, maybe because their new album got released. There's always so many things they had to do. They had to enter their first gigs, unpaid sometimes. They had to live homeless with almost no money. They had to have their first PR managers. They got screwed over a lot. That happens in the entertainment industry. And it's kind of how hard you're actually willing to work. Do you really want to do it? And are you willing to put in the years of work? Because I guarantee that it's not going to happen that quickly. And if it does, it's going to be a really superficial level of success that you reach, which you can't maintain because you're not mature enough. A lot of the early struggles that you reach as an individual, as an artist, a professional, a business professional, whatever industry that you do, it's a learning experience. That's why you go through high school and college. A lot of teachers and educators fail to let you know that high school and college is a platform to get you ready for your family life later, your professional life later. A lot of people messed around in those early stages, but it's kind of your tool to kind of discover yourself and to kind of learn. You'll be successful when you realize what type of person that you want to be as early as possible because then you'll fail. And I kind of want to stress to a lot of people, don't be afraid of failing in anything that you do because if you are, then that means you're challenging yourself and that means you're elevating yourself because you will never do something that is worth talking about or doing personally if you're already successful from day one. It's just impossible.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Um, absolutely. Yeah, I guess taking small steps, like taking incremental steps is a lot more manageable than trying to delve into the big pond straight up. It's kind of too much. But actually, I had another question for you regarding another thing you said earlier, was that if you start to chase money as your first thing, then you'll almost never get it. And it seems like um, your success of Amber Mains, you were really passionate about the customer service and everything from the customer's experience. Personally, I really became infatuated with the idea of money recently because I read a bunch of business and marketing books like Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, a bunch of books, and like, wow, like this is so interesting. Um, would you have any advice about someone who is chasing money instead of, following their passion? Like, how would you suggest someone to understand what their passion is and stuff like that?
It's great to have both goals. I mean, I recommend those books as well. Those are great books to kind of educate your mind and to really make sure that you're mentally fortified enough to know that making money is possible. That's absolutely important. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I love money. I don't do what I do for just free will because I need to make a living as well. And money is kind of the objective validator of how successful you are, however you want to judge it. But it is one aspect of judging your success. But on that point, it's just a mental barrier that you have to reach. Can you make money? Are you willing to make money? Once you know that you are 100% able to make a certain amount of income, you will make that amount of money. And I think on that note, passion and money, it's you need to have a really strong blend of both. If you're just completely on passion, you will be successful, you'll be completely happy, satisfied with your life, but you'll never reach the next level. And what I mean with the next level is you'll never be the best in your field. Everyone who's the number one person in their field, they wanted to do it for the passion, the money, but also to make a difference and to always learn and improve. And I think it's those four things that are critically important. When one of those things are lacking, everything is brought down a notch and you kind of start slowly lowering your level of success, and other people who are way more ambitious than you reach the top. That's why I think a lot of douchebags, a lot of egotistical people, they make it to the top. It's because they have a lot more ambition. And it really depends on what type of industry that you're talking about, what type of percentage, and what type of combination of those that you're willing to put towards yourself. But it really is a combination of everything. I love telling people that if they want to be happy and successful, start out with your passion.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you have your passion, you will find a way to make a living for yourself no matter what. I think
Okay.
the biggest rule of thumb is you need to have 1,000 fans. 1,000 true fans will be the structure of your business in whatever you do, and you'll be able to be rich from that point on. You just have to have the mindset, if you can't get 1,000 fans, you need to reverse engineer your goal. Are you going to get 1,000 fans by the end of the year? I don't care what the number is. You need to reach a certain number. When you reach 1,000, you're going to want to get 5,000, 10,000, and then 100,000. At that point, you're already done. Money is not an issue. From that point on, you need to really think about how you need to elevate the platform and make it really valuable for your customers. And it depends whether you're doing an online business, a traditional business. Obviously, I love online businesses because that's where I started. I believe that everyone can become a millionaire just from going online, Google. You can spend less than $1,000 and make $1 million. It's completely possible. And there's a lot of naysayers out there. They just don't know because they don't research. They're so used to the traditional aspect of working in corporate life. I have nothing to say about corporate life. I've been part of corporate life, but it's a hierarchical structure. The great thing about entrepreneurial life is you start out at the bottom and at the top at the exact same time. When I started out with Amber Maids, I made sure that I was the head of customer service. I was answering all the emails, the phone calls. I was talking with customers and really getting to know market research, doing all the advertisement as well. And I also managed all of the employees and was the main point of contact. But that was the most important thing that I wanted for myself and for the business, because if you don't understand the bottom line of your business, you'll never make success at the top line. And that's something I really love to stress whenever I talk about any type of business theory or idea with my colleagues or my peers, because I hate using the term CEO. I
Mm-hmm.
never thought of myself as the CEO, I thought of myself as the customer service person because that's who I was. And I love talking with people. I think putting a label for yourself is just kind of a really pompous thing. It's great. It's a great mental thing. It makes you feel really good about yourself, but that's not who you are. You're not the CEO. You're the customer service person, and you're kind of the happiness um, individual and the agent that really meshes both worlds together. And once you see yourself down in that position, you're already the CEO and you're already the leader. And you don't have to justify that for yourself, your customers will.
Okay. Okay. I think that's really cool that you're really in touch with your customers and everything. Um, that's really interesting how you said you start on the bottom and on the top at the same time. At first, I was like, what does that mean? But I see what you're saying. Um, let's see. Yeah, I think that's about all the questions I have. Well, you know what? I have one more question though. You said if you have a passion, right? If you have a passion for something, you're bound to improve. Um, what would you say the difference is between, okay, so I'm an artist, right? And I have a lot of artist friends who are super passionate about art. I have some musician friends, performer friends, they're super passionate about what they do. And they're really passionate about it, but they're not so much into the business side marketing stuff. Um, would you say what is that, when do those two things meet, and like how does it, so would you say money is like a multiplier of passion, or your passion can multiply your money, or what, like I don't know, do you have any friends who are like that? Do you have any like dancer friends who are, maybe they're really good at dancing but they're not as good as like booking gigs and stuff like?
Well, the thing about arts, like
Mm-hmm.
with dancing and
Yeah.
music,
I mean, it's
it's also
hard.
yeah, it's really hard to be successful, but it's also really entrepreneurial as
Mm-hmm.
well. The limited time that I was in the dance scene, I talked with a lot of individuals. They were interested in opening up their own studios.
Mm-hmm.
They have really popular YouTube channels, videos. They make money off of that. They monetize that.
Oh.
They have gigs. They're booking a lot of things with really well-known artists and producers such as Usher, Justin Timberlake, Alicia Keys. There's so many out there. In terms of art and music, the possibilities are so limit. Like there are so many possibilities. It's unlimited. Like I hate when people tell me that they can't make money doing something. It's completely possible. 30 years ago, what was our idea of a DJ? A disc jockey that just played music. It's just like an iPod, right? Now look at the world now. The EDM artists are making millions of dollars per year. Calvin Harris topped Forbes. He made over 70 million. Tiesto made over 40 million. How ridiculous is that? The music industry is booming and it will always be there. People didn't know that it would be successful. When they started out, their goal of making a million was a complete joke. But there's so many pathways that you can do, and I think the best advice that I can give for your viewers,
Mm-hmm.
whether they're artists or work in the art, do something brand new. If you're not successful, you're doing exactly what everyone else is doing, and guess what? That's the reason why it's not working.
Mm.
Go on YouTube. Do something new. Maybe do a sketch per day. Show people how you're doing certain sketches. Do you know how many people out there are willing to learn? What's easy for you is extremely difficult for other people. If you're drawing a new character, I have no idea, from the movie Frozen. Frozen is hugely popular, so capitalize on that. Show exactly step by step how you're drawing the structure of her body, her head. Give ideas on how to kind of mesh in the environment with different color schemes. I have no idea what that is, but you do, and people out
Mm.
there would be willing to subscribe and to learn. With podcasting is an absolutely blooming industry right now. I think the statistics are only 3 out of 10 people know the term podcasting, which is great for us because down the road, 5 years from now, every single person is going to purchase a new car. Guess what's going to become built into the audio system? A podcast that they can play when they're driving to and from work, driving to and from the gym. 45 million people listen to iTunes every single month, and I think that is a free market that you can completely explode on and take advantage if you're an artist to do something brand new. You know, talk with other artists, get an expert panel going, have a discussion. Boom, there's your first subscribers. I don't care if it's one person, two people, who cares? If there's one or two people that are interested in your business and what you have to say, that's amazing. I mean, a lot of people stress on building a social media network as well. I love social media. It's free advertising. I've never spent a single dollar on my podcasting, what I'm doing now, and I've already reached 800 people within the first week. That's incredible. Just because I've been posting on Reddit, I've been reaching out to the musicians themselves. It's kind of a piggyback thing as well. And I know people who have had 1,000 listeners in their first month, but they spent hundreds of dollars on advertising. And I think that really goes to show if you hit a niche, you will succeed. And with art, there's so many people who are really passive that I want you artists to be really aggressive in your field. Start having higher visions for yourself and really delving into different things. You guys are already super creative. So
Mm-hmm.
now's your chance to kind of learn about traditional marketing. I really recommend that. Just read some books, but kind of use your creative mindset to go into some guerrilla tactics. I mean, Banksy is huge. All he does is just draw things, and for some reason, he gets posted on Wall Street Journal, New York Times, CNN just for drawing things. You don't have to be like Banksy. You can go online, give all your material for free. That's what I love to do. Make a website. Don't think about selling your art first. Think about giving away 1,000 tutorials for absolutely $0, giving all your tutorials for free, and becoming the authority figure and really validating yourself as the prime example and the prime database for anyone who wants to be an aspiring artist. I don't know what it is. Don't just do an artist field. Really niche it down. You want to be the best artist in kind of pastel work, using only
Yeah.
certain basic colors. I could go on forever with this. You want to be the authority figure. You're the best at making Disney figures. Are you the best person at drawing female figurines? I guarantee you there's thousands of people who really want to learn from you. Once you dominate that niche and really market off from there, you can start being an authority figure in any figure in art because they know that you succeeded in doing that and they got so much value out of you that they want to learn what you have next. And you might even be hired as a consultant. You can get paid $100 to $150, $200. People pay you money to do that. I got consulting fees for a ridiculous amount of money just for giving people advice that I honestly blatantly told them. If you read my blog, if you listen to the interviews I've done in the past, you can get this information for free. I want you to know that. But regardless, they paid me upwards of, over $100, just to give them advice per hour for 2 hours for something that I could have given them for free, and they knew that. But once you're an authority figure, they want to be in the same room as you. They want to kind of explore
Hmm.
your brain. They want to know how you work. And once you elevate yourself to that platform, really the possibilities are it's limitless. You can publish a book on art, not the cheesy traditional books. You can do something completely brand new. Ebooks. You don't have to do publishing with traditional paperback books. Just publish something on ebooks, sell it on Amazon. I have no idea, for $1, $2, someone's gonna buy it. And guess what? That's one or two new fans that you have who are passionate about what you're doing. And having two fans that love what you're doing, as opposed to 100 fans who are like, "Hey, this is pretty cool. I'm your friend on Facebook, and this is nice," is way more valuable because those two people are going to be your raving fans, and they're gonna tell their two friends who love art that you're doing what you're doing, and it's just going to be a trickle down system. Two times two times two, I mean, math. It's going to be 1,000 really, really fast. So those are kind of the small things that I can say about the art field.
That's really cool. So it's like the raving fan versus the like Facebook friend fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, stop going on Facebook. Having your friends be your Facebook fans is completely awesome, but I don't even like doing that. That's not my goal because my friends on social media, they're just there to be like, "Oh, cool, I support you, I like your stuff, and I like your post."
Hmm.
That means nothing to me. That means zero likes and zero interaction because they're just doing it because they like me or they want to know what's going on. But you want to target the people who are actually going to share your work and to kind of put action towards it. You want to reach out to that one avatar, that one person. And I learned this from a mentor of mine, John, who's a podcaster. He's immensely popular.
Hmm.
Is to have an avatar really define who your perfect customer is. Give that person a name. I'm dead serious about this.
Okay.
Like, is that person's name Bob? Is he 18 years old? Is he an aspiring student who loves to draw? Um, like, when does he listen or when does he visit your website? Is it while he's break time at school, after school? Once you define your perfect avatar,
Hmm.
your perfect customer, then you'll be able to create more work and really adjust kind of your offerings, your services, and your products to that individual. And you'll be able to create something that really seemed like an obvious choice from the beginning, but once you really do that, then you'll never realize it. And it's going to sound really dumb doing this, but
Hmm.
if you don't define that, then you have to do it. A lot of the tech companies, they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this market research.
Hmm.
We have the luxury as individuals to do this and validate our idea through Google ads, Facebook ads,
Hmm.
like pay per click. You can research all of that if you don't know about that. Social media. I mean, if no one is liking your stuff when you post it on Reddit, like chances are, it probably sucks. Like Reddit and a lot of those online forums, they are brutally serious about what you're doing, which I love. I love bringing my new ideas to online forums like that and just getting destroyed because it's free market research. Companies pay hundreds of thousands of dollars and you did it for free. And if you're really so weak to get shot down from that and like you feel defeated, you're like, oh, someone called me out online and now I'm so sad and I don't want to do this anymore. Dude, you don't even know because all of my ideas, everyone hated them. Like, no one believed that Amber Maids was going to succeed. Do you realize how ridiculous the idea is? I entered a $1 billion market that was really competitive, but the fact that I was even able to generate some amount of money, like, that was already a success for me. I want people to really, really know that I truly didn't think that Amber Maids would reach the success that it did. I secretly wanted it to fail because I wanted to improve the structure of the business and kind of see how far that it would go. But along that way, it was able to reach a certain level of success. And I kind of passed it off to people who are much more passionate than I was. And they're going to be changing the system and they're going to be doing something really great with it. But if it's something that you love, like art, I'm sure that you're never going to sell it to someone and it's never your goal. And that's kind of like your golden treasure that you're doing. That's kind of what podcasting is to me now. Whether my podcast makes $1 million later, I don't care if someone wants to acquire it for $1 billion because that's not my goal. That's my new passionate thing that is kind of my own secret. I mean, no one's going to buy your kid for $1 million. If someone wants to buy your son or your daughter for $1 million and you say yes, then you're just an idiot. You're a terrible person. Treat your business and treat everything that you do like it's your own flesh and blood, and then you'll be able to create the highest value that you'll ever do. Money will come automatically, I guarantee it. And you'll start making money when you're ready to make money.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. All right, Eddie. I think I'll definitely put some of your tips into motion. Um, I'll work on it and I'll let you know personally because I think I had some problems with marketing the project life coach thing, but I think I've kind of failed to establish the avatar, like the demographic of who am I marketing to. I'm kind of confused, so I'll probably need to kind of establish that and kind of think about that first.
It
Um,
doesn't matter if
no?
it sucks in the beginning.
Uh
I
huh.
mean, everything sucks in the beginning. Like, the fact that you even thought about doing this and that you did it, that's already a huge accomplishment that puts you in the top 10%. Now, do you want to be in the top 1%? That means making consistent shows, bringing more value, doing
Mhm.
something completely different, and really just pushing forward. There's going to be a lot of failures. There's going to be less than 10 people who listen to certain episodes. Who cares? That's how everyone starts. Eventually, it's going to be hundreds, thousands of people that listen. And I think with Project Life Coach, I'm not sure what your eventual goal is. There's a lot of people in this particular niche that
Mhm.
are hugely successful as consultants, as speakers, as authors, as entrepreneurs, and just anything in that field. But I think that you could be really successful. You have a passion for art. I mean, I think it's a given. You should interview people who are able to give advice in the arts category, solely in the arts category,
Mhm.
who want to be artists. Reach out to aspiring artists that you feel need to be highlighted for their work, who are really successful, and really start to build a network from there. There's millions of artists out there in any field who love to draw. I mean, I used to love drawing when I was a kid. I never really told anyone this, but when I was in third or fourth grade, I won a lot of awards for being the state winner for a lot of my pastel work.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I come from that background as well.
Cool.
My mom's brother was one of the best artists in Korea during the 70s and the 80s, and
Oh, wow.
genetically, I kind of got that from him. I never really capitalized on that because I don't like drawing. I
Right.
mean, unfortunately, I was good at it and I was winning these festivals, which to my knowledge, I had no idea the caliber of the artists that were there. I was beating a lot of artists who were 5, 6 years my age, but I mean, that's not what I love. I love
Mhm.
music, I love business, and I think that already is a testament to how successful I've been able to do it. If I went down the art path, I guarantee you I would not have been successful because I have no passion for this at all. Like, there's so many actors out there who quit Hollywood after 2, 3 years. They could have made millions of dollars. Guess what? They quit because they hate it. And now they're doing weird, um, weird stuff that don't make them money. They're doing a lot of independent live theater shows. They're just staying under the shadows, but they're happy and they're successful doing that because they don't like that type of sector. And it's not always about the money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're really just doing it for the money, then just start gambling. If you really like money, just be a blackjack player. That's the advice I give. You'll be successful doing that. You'll make millions of dollars. Learn how to trade. And make money on Wall Street. Whenever I tell people that, they know what I'm saying because that's the pinnacle of making money. You're dealing with money physically, but it's not really a passionate thing. But I do know a lot of gamblers and a lot of traders who are passionate about what they do and they are successful. That's because they love gambling and they love doing it. Why do you think everyone that you know goes to Vegas and they lose money? It's because they don't like gambling. They want to win money. And
Oh,
that's
what?
why you fail. I mean, I'm a pretty good blackjack player. Whenever I go to Vegas, I usually come up a few thousand.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Wow.
because I like the game. I don't care if I win $1. I just really want to beat the dealer, and I'm just super competitive. I don't care about other people. They want to win a certain amount of money. I don't really care. A long time ago, I didn't tell people in college. I was able to support like a quarter of my tuition just playing online poker. I won a
Wow.
lot of tournaments as well. I used to suck. I used to lose everything. I suck at live tables, but I was able to, for a really short amount of time, make money online. And then everyone knows what happened. The whole government intervention with online gambling being
Oh
illegal.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I know a lot of people who moved to Canada for that purpose, and now they're millionaires. But I wasn't like a crazy gambler. I'm just saying, I was only able to succeed because I educated myself and I really liked gambling and really winning. It wasn't really about the money. It was, I want to beat all the 100 people that are in this room right now because like I want to be the best. And whatever I do, I want to be the best, and I will be the best in what I do because I'm willing to sacrifice so much more than what 99% of people are doing. And it's really having that aggressive idea. I mean, you're a really nice guy. You're a nice guy that I've known from high school and stuff, but sometimes there has to be that beast characteristic that comes out of you like, hey, like I want to stay up tonight. I'm not sleeping tonight and I'm gonna push through and I'm gonna reach out to one or two emails every night. I'm gonna reach out to a new mentor every night. I don't care if he rejects me. I'm gonna reach out to him again. I'm gonna reach out to another person. Soon you'll get a lot of people. I mean, most of the people that make it in the world, the industrial world, the musical world, the entertainment industry, their work was absolute shit. Like, I want people to know that everyone who listens to radio hosts, their first interviews, they're not as good as their 100th episode. Actors who first started out, they're completely terrible at what they did, and they worked on their craft for 10 years. The 10,000 rule it's really true. I mean, it took me less than 10,000 hours, but that's because I'm not good at what I'm doing. So I need to put in way more hours than I feel that I should. And then once I hit the 10,000 hours, I'm going to do 20,000 hours because I don't think that's enough for me as well. I mean, one of the biggest flaws that I see in myself is that I sometimes work too hard and I'm willing to do way more than what others are doing. And sometimes you have to do it. When I started my company, I didn't hang out with my friends on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays for extended periods of time. And that's really hard as a 22, 23-year-old person to do
Mm-hmm.
when everyone's out drinking alcohol, they're going to Vegas, they're partying. I could have done it, but I chose not to. And I really thought about the long term 2, 3 year plan, what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to solidify as my characteristic. And that's where I am now. One of the things that I love doing is while you're working and you're going out right now, when
Mm-hmm.
I'm 35 years old, I'm going to be the one that's playing every single day. And you're going to be seeing that because that's my goal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be the person that parties when I'm in my 20s. I don't have time for that right now. When I'm 35, after I'm 40 years old, I'm probably going to retire and I'm going to be the one that's playing and I'm going to be calling all my friends to see if they're playing, but they're going to be busy focusing on what they're doing because they partied and they wasted 10 years of their life. That's kind of the extreme mentality that I go with,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't really recommend a lot of people do that because that's kind of like way too extreme for some people. But
Mm-hmm.
that's my person and my personality, who I am, to reach my small level of success. So it takes a lot, and I really want to stress that. Don't ever give up with what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you're failing and you're struggling, that's a beautiful sign because that means you're challenging yourself and you genuinely want to be better. And the person in the end who is successful is the person who wanted it the most. So if you visit a person 10 years later, if they weren't successful, I don't care how much bad luck you had, no one can have that much bad luck in their life. Eventually, they're going to find a way to succeed. And if you think your struggles are really hard, just look at rappers. I mean, Jay-Z, Biggie, Tupac. They didn't have a home. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't have food. They had to sell drugs. Their parents hated them. They didn't have parents sometimes. And we are really spoiled in this day and age. A lot of us come from Southern California. You and me, we come from Irvine, California,
Yeah.
safest city in the world, top three for the past decade. And I think that is kind of a disadvantage,
Oh.
ironically, to us because we go to school, we come back, there's food on the table, we're going to go to college. Whether you get financial aid or your parents pay for it, you go to college, you go to a great college, you go to class, there's a syllabus, you graduate and you enter the corporate world and you have a nice job because you went to a pretty good college. That's your life. And you know what that really spells out? That becomes a mediocre lifestyle. And that's why I really like failing because I like being at the bottom because I like starting out with nothing because that's what the most successful people start out with. And that's who a lot of people that I aspire to be like, they started out with. And I really admire those people much more than people who had the silver spoon, who had everything handed to them and they were successful because that's not really a struggle. That's really what you're expected to do.
Mm-hmm.
And with that even said, your expectations are much higher because you had economic and financial stability. You had a socioeconomic advantage compared with everyone else. You're in the top 1% already if you live in California. If you live in America, you're already in the top 1%. And you should already be much more successful than you are, and you really need to work as hard as the people that are working in the third world countries, because if you're not doing that, then you're just spoiled, or there's something really ignorant about your mindset. You really need to really push yourself to the boundaries. So I'm confident that you're going to be successful later. You're starting out life coach. You're a really hard worker in high school with track and field. You're really talented doing tennis. You're well spoken. I have no doubt that a year from now, when we reconnect, or sooner than that, hopefully, that you're going to be blasting off and you're a well-known artist in the field. I've been looking at a lot of your pastel work, a lot of the things that you post online, and it's quality. I know that you know that you're good, but I just want to stress that keep on pushing, keep on elevating yourself, and really doing something brand new because when you think you made it, a million other people have been in your shoes and they led a mediocre lifestyle and a lot of them fell off. Once you're always in the mindset mode to always improve, then you'll catapult yourself to the 0.1%, which should always be your goal. And then you'll be a millionaire easily. But at that point, money won't even be an issue, and you won't even want it for the money. You'll want it for the passion, which will always lead to the happiest lifestyle that you can always have.
Cool. Well, thank you. That was beautiful, Eddie. That was very beautiful. Thank you very much
Yeah.
for um let's see. Well, yeah, Eddie, well, thank you so much for a great talk. It's been almost an hour, so I guess we can just conclude it here. I thought your talk was really inspiring, and it was really real too. I really like that, you know, I'm not just talking to some anonymous dude who is, selling me life coach tips. It's like a friend from high school, and I think that's really real, and that's so much more meaningful that, you're a real person. Um, and
Yeah,
yeah.
and just touching on that point really
Uh-huh.
quickly, sometimes to kind of reach the next level, you have to have one of your friends reach a
Mm-hmm.
certain level of success, which
Yeah.
is really cool because you're going to be reading about, Elon Musk of Tesla, Richard Branson of Virgin Airlines,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Dre with his recordings, and it's cool. It's inspiring, but it's not personal because they seem like a really esoteric individual and a figurine that's on an island by
Mm-hmm.
themselves. And one of the things that I really appreciate from the past year is that I've been able to share a lot of my things on Facebook, not
Mm-hmm.
for the social platform elevation that I wanted. I don't give a shit about that. Like, I don't care how much glory it brings me. It brings me no glory. What really makes me feel good is that, hey, I'm your friend. I'm no different than you are.
Mm-hmm.
We're equal. And I was able to do a certain thing and reach this level of success. Hey, you can do it too. And
Mm-hmm.
if I inspire you and I inspire the 100 people on Facebook who like it or whatever, that means more than any type of money that I've gained from it because I rather all of us make $1 million together than me make $1 million by myself. That's not fun for me. I really want to have all of my friends become millionaires at a certain point in their life to really feel the confidence that I've been able to achieve because once you hit that first level of success, you're just climbing the ladder and it's so much easier from there. It's just a snowball effect and it's really fun. That's why a lot of successful people surround themselves with successful people. You're the average of the 5 people that you associate yourself with, so
Mm-hmm.
choose your 5 friends very, very wisely. If your 5 closest friends are partying out on the weekends, they're playing video games every weekend, guess what you're going to do? You're probably going to do the same thing. Um, Associate yourself with 5 people who are always challenging themselves, they're always pushing the envelope, being creative, aspiring to be greater than themselves 24 hours ago, and that's what you're going to be. And soon you're going to be the authority figure of your group of 5 people. You're going to build an online community where you're the authority figure of 100 people, and guess what? Eventually, you're going to be the big fish in the big pond.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Mm. Yeah. Well, thank you so much again, Eddie. You've given you've given us so much more than we anticipated and expected. Thank you so much. We're really grateful to have you here, and it's really inspiring. And yeah, thank you for being, our first podcast person too. I know I was kind of like a little bit nervous and stuff doing this, but yeah, thank you for being so patient and for your time as well. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, you did a great job. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be the first guest on Life Coach. I expect so much out of Life Coach, and I really want to visit you guys later. I'm gonna bookmark the website, and I really want to see aspiring guests on it who inspire people and really do what you're about to do for the world in the next coming years. So keep on doing what you're doing, Chris. I really fully support it.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much again, Eddie. Um, well, yeah. Well, you have a great, great afternoon. You have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
Okay,
Have a good one. I'll talk to you
thanks.
soon,
All
Chris.
right. See you, Eddie. Bye. Okay, here.